students, welcome to the class. Advertising, Lesson 30, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. Objectives, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, penalties, amendments and changes. Introduction. India is the second largest producer of food next to China. Food is one of the essentials of life. It should be pure, nutritious and free from any type of adulteration for proper maintenance of human health. It is the duty of every government to make pure and safe food available to the countrymen in sufficient quantities. The objective envisaged in this legislation is to ensure pure and wholesome food to the consumers and also to prevent fraud or deception. The Act has been amended thrice in 1964, 1976 and 1986 with the objective of plugging the loopholes and making the punishments more stringent and empowering consumers and voluntary organizations to play effective roles in its implementation. Even earlier, laws existed in a number of states in India for the prevention of adulteration of foodstuffs, but they lacked uniformity, having been passed at different times without proper mutual consultation between states. Unadulterated food in the country, the government makes various food laws. The need for central legislation for the whole country in this matter has been felt since 1937, when a committee appointed by the Central Advisory Board of Health recommended this step. The Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, PFA Act 1954. Legislation has a critical role to play in ensuring that food producers and sellers comply with the requirements of food safety. In India, we have several legal mechanisms, supportive infrastructure and organizations dealing with food safety, especially prevention of food adulteration. With the increase in global trade in food items and food products, international organizations and agreements have become necessary. The Prevention of Food Adulteration Bill was passed by both the Houses of Parliament and received the assent of the President on 20th September 1954. It came into force on 1st June 1955 as the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, 37 of 1954. The Act was passed by the Parliament to provide for a comprehensive legislation for preventing adulteration of foodstuffs and check various kinds of nefarious acts connected with articles of food. Prior to this enactment, different states of India had their own laws for the prevention of food adulteration. Since these state laws were not adequate, the Parliament passed this Act of 1954 as Adulteration of Foodstuffs and Other Goods. Details of the Act. The salient features of the PFA Act includes objective, definition of food, meaning of adulterant, concept of adulteration, misbranded items, sale of certain admixtures, relevant committees, analysts, procedure for sampling and analysis, penalties and important miscellaneous provisions. For the benefit of a learner like you, the small description of the major features of the Act are given below in a simplified way so that it is easier for you to understand. Objective. The main objectives of the Act are: 1. To make provision for the prevention of adulteration of food. 2. To protect the public from poisonous and harmful foods. 3. To prevent the sale of substandard foods. And 4. To protect the interests of the consumers by eliminating fraudulent practices. Definitions. Clear definitions are given for terms such as food, adulterant, misbranded items, manufacture, sale, package, etc. to describe the matters clear and simple. However, only some definitions which are more relevant are given below for your understanding of the act clearly. Definition of food. A. Any article which ordinarily enters into or used in the composition or preparation of human food. B. Any flavoring matter or condiments. And C. Any other article which the central government may having regard to its use, nature, substance or quality declare by notification in the official gazette as food for the purpose of this act. Adulterant is defined as any material which is or could be employed for the purposes of adulteration. Concept of adulteration. An article of food considered to be adulterated, 1. If the article sold by a vendor is not of the nature, substance or quality demanded by the purchaser and is to his prejudice, or is not of the nature, substance or quality which it purports or is represented to be. 2. If the article contains any other substance which affects, or if the article is so processed as to affect injuriously the nature, substance or quality thereof. 3. If any inferior or cheaper substance has been substituted wholly or the part or in part for the article so as to affect injuriously the nature, substance or quality thereof. 4. If any constituent of the article has been wholly or in part abstracted so as to affect injuriously the nature, substance or quality thereof, provided that where the quality or purity of the article being primary food has fallen below the prescribed standards, or its constituents are present in quantities not within the prescribed limits of variability in either case. To make things clear, admixtures of many items are clearly prohibited. For example, sale by himself or by his servant or agent is prohibited in case of A. Cream which has not been prepared exclusively from milk or which contains less than 25% of milk fat. B. Milk which contains added water. C. Ghee which contains any added matter not exclusively derived from milk fat. D. Selling skimmed milk as whole milk. E. Mixture of 2 or more edible oils as an edible oil. F. Vanaspati to which ghee or any other substance has been added. G. Any article of food which contains artificial sweetener beyond the prescribed limit. H. Turmeric containing any foreign substance. I. Mixture of coffee and other substance except chicory. J. Dahi or curd not made of tough milk. K. Milk or milk products containing constituents other than of milk. Misbranded. An article of food shall be deemed to be misbranded. A. If it is an imitation of, or is a substitute for, or resembles in a manner likely to deceive another article of food under the name of which it is sold, and is not plainly and conspicuously labelled so as to indicate its true character. B. If it is falsely stated to be the product of any place or country. C. If it is sold by a name which belongs to another article of food. D. If it is so colored, flavored or coated, powdered or polished, the fact that the article is damaged, is concealed, or if the article is made to appear better or of greater value than it really is. If the package containing it or the label on the package bears any statement, design or device regarding the ingredients or the substances contained therein which is false or misleading in any material particular, or if the package is otherwise deceptive with respect to its contents. No person shall import into India A. any adulterated food, B. any misbranded food, C. any article of food for the import of which a license is prescribed except in accordance with the conditions of the license, and D. any article of food in contravention of any other provisions of this Act or of any rule made thereunder. No person shall himself or by any person on his behalf manufacture for sale or store or sell or distribute A. any adulterated food, B. any misbranded food, C. any article of food for the sale of which a license is prescribed, except in accordance with the conditions of the license. D. any article of food the sale of which is for the time being prohibited by the Food Health Authority in the interest of public health. Any article of food in contravention of any other provision of this Act or of any rule made thereunder. Provision also is given for appointment of officials to supervise the working as given below. The central government or the state government may by notification in the official gazette appoint such persons as it thinks fit, having the prescribed qualification, to be public enlists for such local areas as may be assigned to them by the central government or the state government, as the case may be. Every food inspector shall be deemed to be a public servant within the meaning of section 21 of the Indian Penal Code 45 of 1860, and shall be officially subordinate to such authority as the government appointing him may specify in this behalf. A food inspector shall have power A. to take samples of any article of food from 1. any person selling such article, 2. any person who is in the course of conveying, delivering or preparing to deliver such article to a purchaser or consignee, and 3. a consignee after delivery of any such article to him. The general provisions of food contains the legal provisions pertaining to food, like prohibition of import of certain food articles into India or prohibition of manufacture, sale, etc. of certain articles of food like adulterated food, misbranded food, etc. under section 5 of the Act, while section 6 of the Act provides for the detention of prohibited article of food. Section 7 of the Act prohibits manufacture for sale, store or distribution of any adulterated food and misbranded food also. For analysis of quality of food, the central government or the state government under section 8 of the Act by notification in the official gazette are empowered to appoint public analysts or the food inspectors possessing prescribed qualifications for such local areas as prescribed. Under section 9 of the Act, a food inspector can also be appointed by the central or state government. The food inspectors are deemed to be a public servant within the section 21 of IPC. The food inspector under section 10 is empowered to exercise the authority of a police officer under section 42 Criminal Penal Code for the purpose of ascertaining the true name and residence of the person from whom a sample is taken or an article of food is seized. Procedure for sampling analysis. Any food inspector can enter and inspect any place where any article of food is manufactured or stored for sale or stored for the manufacture of any other article of food for sale or exposed or exhibited for sale or where any adulterant is manufactured or kept, and take samples of such article of food or adulterant for analysis. A. Notice will be issued by the inspector in writing then and there to the seller indicating his intention. B. 3 samples are taken and the signature of the seller is affixed to them. C. 1 sample is sent for analysis to public analyst under intimation to the local health authority. D. The other 2 samples are sent to the local health authority for further reference. Where a company is the offender, the person nominated as in charge of the company for conduct of the business of the company shall be responsible. Where no such name has been made, the person who was responsible at the material time for the conduct of the business of the company shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence under the Act along with the company. If a person is convicted under the Act for contravention of any provisions therein, the article of the food in respect of which there is contravention may be forfeited to the government. If the article of food cannot be reprocessed, if the article of the food can be reprocessed for human consumption, the court may order its return to the owner on condition of his executing a bond to sell subject to such reprocessing. All persons shall be liable to imprisonment for a term up to 6 months, which may extend to 3 years and with fine of rupees 10,000. If they are found to have imported directly or indirectly into India or manufacture or sell, store or distribute any article of food which is adulterated or in contravention of any provisions of this Act and the rules. They shall also be liable if any adulterant which is not injurious to health is imported, manufactured, stored or sold. Similar punishment will be meted out to any person who prevents any food inspector from taking a sample of food collector, prevents him from exercising any powers under the Act, or has possession any adulterant not injurious to health, uses any report or certificate of a test or analysis made by the Central Food Laboratory or public analyst for advertising any article of food or gives to a vendor a false warranty in writing in respect of article of food sold by him. The court may impose a lesser punishment where adulteration takes place of primary food due to human agencies or the food article is misbranded. Similarly, importing of article of food which is adulterated or using any adulterant, if the adulterated food or adulterant causes death or such harm would amount to be serious injury, punishment is up to 3 years imprisonment and with fine of rupees 5,000. It shall be no defense in a case of food adulteration for the vendor to say that he was ignorant about nature, substance or quality of the food sold by him, or that the purchaser of the food article was not prejudiced by the sale. It shall be no offence if the vendor can prove that the adulterated or misbranded food was purchased from a licensed manufacturer, distributor or dealer, or that it had a written warranty. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare also gives out information on the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act and rules and its amendments through Gazette notification. Some of the related notifications on fish and fish products are given below for you to understand as examples. The amendments, draft notification of changes, etc. are also available in its website. The drafts of certain rules published through special gazette notifications are open to the public for consideration and suggestions. Wide, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Department of Health notification, the central government, after consultation with the Central Committee for Food Standards, made the following rules further to amend the Prevention of Food Adulteration Rules 1955. Food items and medicines are not only essential for survival of human beings, but may be dangerous in themselves if these are adulterated or not of specific standards. Unfortunately, in India, producers and sellers of food products, drugs and cosmetics have not been much careful about people's health. Consumers themselves, either because of poverty or lack of education, had not been much concerned about the quality of these products. To protect the consumers from adulteration of foodstuffs and the manufacture, storing and sale of adulterated food items, as also from substandard drugs and cosmetics, laws have been enacted.